Hello, everyone. I'm Caitlin. Welcome to class. I hope you've had a great couple of days since I've seen you last, and I hope this finds you in good company. So we're going to get started today for our 45-minute practice by coming to a comfortable cross-legged position, bringing the eyes closed, sitting up nice and tall, maybe on a pillow or a blanket. We start to tap into our breath, inhaling in through the nose, down into the belly. Start to become aware of how the breath feels today. Noticing the breath is coming in easy and deep. Or if the breath is just a little bit shallow today. Try to find some stillness, avoiding scratching or fixing your hair or adjusting your clothes. But if you do feel any pain or discomfort in the position that you've chose, you can certainly adjust. Finding a position that best supports your breath. And in doing so, we are able to fully tap in, being mindful of the body, the mind, and the space we're creating with both. If you have not already, let's bring an awareness to our exhales, starting to make them a little longer than our inhales. Maybe you bring in some counting with your breath cycle. Maybe for you that looks like inhaling for a count of 2, exhaling for a count of 3, maybe 4. Let's take our final minute in meditation to connect with our body, completing a body scan, starting at either the head or the toes, or if there's a piece of your body that is screaming out for your attention first, go there. And we simply observe any sensations that we're having in the body. Maybe you're having some intrusive thoughts and noticing how the body is reacting to those as well. Observing without judgment or attachment. Let's take 3 more breath cycles. Last one, big inhale. A slow exhale. Gently we'll open our eyes, drawing the left heel into the midline. Right leg extends out long, toes up towards the sky. We will root down through the heel, through the top of the right thigh. Right hand is either going to come to the inside of the thigh, outside of the thigh, or we'll bring forearm down by the shin as we start to warm up both the back and the low body. Left arm is going to sweep out wide at our side and then rise up above the head, fingers reaching up towards the ceiling. Maybe you take a mudra here if that's in your practice. Gaze is out past the fingers. We pause here for several breaths, letting the shoulder, drop into socket, letting the shoulder blade melt towards the spine. Belly button is in line with the front of the pelvis and the sternum. So chest, belly, pelvis are all shining out through the midline. One more inhale. On the exhale, we start to drape the left fingers over towards the right toes. You may come nowhere near the right toes, and that's okay. We're just in that general direction. Reaching out past the toes. Left bicep is next to the left ear. Belly button, heart, gaze, and pelvis are still shining out through the midline. Big breaths in through the belly. Stay for one more inhale. And on your exhale, we're going to stay nice and low. As we shift the right hand to the outside of the right leg, we spin the belly button towards the top of the right thigh. We let the left hand drop to the inside of the right leg. Hands are framing. As we bow, forehead towards the body. Go ahead and let the head hang here if that feels good. And stay active in the right toes. If you need a little bit more in the low back, the left hip, maybe you take that left hand, drape it across the front of the right ankle, clasping the outside of the right foot. And then drop the shoulders away from the ears. One more inhale. On the exhale, we use our palms, the strength of our arms, to walk ourselves back up to a seated position. We bend the right knee, drawing the right heel towards us, and then sending the right sole towards the back edge of the mat, shining away from us. So right inner knee, right inner thigh is spiraled down towards the earth. So we've got this internal rotation of the right hip external rotation of the left hip. And on the inhale, we're sending both arms up towards the ceiling, biceps by the ears. Let's look up right in between our fingers, inhaling to grow tall in the spine, lifting out of the pelvis. Exhale, right hand drops to the left knee as we pivot the belly button towards the left thigh. Left hand drops behind us in space. Internal rotation on the right hip exaggerates, lifting the glutes slightly off the mat. Finding a nice, gentle twist. Reminding ourselves that it should be gentle, should not feel like a punishment. Stay light on the fingers in the left hand so we're not dumping any weight back there. Stay for one more inhale. And exhale. We drop both palms right to the outside of the left thigh. So hands right down on the mat. Gazes shining out towards what would be the back edge of your mat. If you're positioned the same way as me. And on our next exhale, we start to walk the forearms down to the earth. Maybe staying here in Sphinx arms, letting the head, the crown drop towards the earth. Maybe you stack palm over palm. Maybe you walk the hands out even further as you drop the forehead here. Today, for my body, wants to stay up on my forearms. We're pressing into the earth through the right sole, the inner right knee, so that we can release any gripping in the right glute. On your next exhale, we'll gently use the hands to walk us back out the way that we came before, spiraling the belly back through the midline. We take the right leg, swinging it over the top of the left. Right foot comes to the outside of the left thigh. Toes are pointed forward. If that doesn't feel comfortable for you, or you try it and you're like, yeah, no, not happening, you can bring the right heel right in front of the left ankle, and we'll find a twist this way. Otherwise, left heel is right in front of the right glute. Right heel is on the outside of the left thigh. Right toes pointing forward. Left elbow crease hooks around the right knee as we shift belly button towards the top of the right thigh. Right knee pulls towards the left shoulder. So we drop the right hand behind us in space, finding our twist. It feels good. Maybe you drop the right ear towards the right shoulder, exaggerating the stretch in the left side of the neck. Exhale draws you back through center as we unravel, using your hands to help if you'd like, and we take it to the other side. So left leg shoots out long, right foot comes to the midline. Right heel is right in front of the pelvis. We're active in both toes, both sets of toes, excuse me, as our left hand finds our placement on this side, which might look different than it did on the right. So either palm to the inside of the thigh, outside of the thigh, maybe drop the forearm down by the shin. And we sweep the right arm out wide at our side, bringing the fingers pointing up towards the ceiling. Letting the shoulder drop down into socket, shoulder blade melts down towards the spine. One more breath cycle here. Then your next exhale feels your movement, sending the right fingers over towards the left toes. When we're here, we're not collapsing that right shoulder, curling it down towards the earth, but instead wrapping the shoulder blade around the back body, stacking the shoulders one on top of the other. Bicep is right by the ear. Know you can always come out of any posture whenever it feels like too much. Again, it should never feel like a punishment. In your next exhale, we stay nice and low as we start to shift the belly button towards the left thigh. Hands come to frame the right calf, or if you'd like to clasp onto the left foot, that's fine too. Doing whatever feels right in your body today. Exhale, we start to walk ourselves back up to a seated position. We bend the right knee, drawing the heel closer towards the body before sending the left sole towards the back edge of the mat. Excuse me. Inhale, arms come up overhead, biceps are by the ears. We look up at that space between our fingers. Maybe softening your gaze, letting it get a little hazy. Inhale to grow nice and tall in the spine. Exhale, we shift the belly button over towards the top of the right thigh. Left hand drops to the right knee. Right hand drops behind us in space as we find our sweet twist. One more inhale. Exhale, we drop both palms right next to the outside of the right thighs. We start to drape the belly over the right thigh, coming onto the forearms, maybe stacking hands over hands, dropping the forehead, or maybe crawling the fingers all the way out long, resting the forehead right on the mat. Whatever feels most comfortable for you.
One more inhale. Exhale, we use the strength of our arms, the heel of our palms to walk us out the way that we came. We unravel back to the midline, lifting the left leg, coming out long, swinging it up and over the right side. Left foot comes to the outside of the right thigh. Right elbow hooks around the left knee as we shift the belly button towards the top of the left thigh. Using the right arm to draw the left knee towards the right shoulder. Option to drop the left ear towards the left shoulder, bringing more activity into the right side of the neck. More inhale here. Exhale unravels us back through center. We use the hands to lift the left leg up and over before we transition into table. So gently shifting into our tabletop position here. Wrists are right underneath the shoulders, hips are underneath. Nope, hips are over the knees. We inhale, drop the belly, open the chest, pressing away from the mat, lifting out of the shoulder joint. Chest is open, gaze is forward. Exhale, we round through, tucking the tail towards the belly button. Dropping the crown, again pressing away from the mat. Your next inhale, we drop the belly, open the chest. Exhale, round through. Inhale, drop the belly, open the chest. Exhale, round through. We're going to hold here for 2 breath cycles. Really drawing the belly button towards the spine on the exhale. Your next inhale brings you back to neutral spine, tabletop position. We bump the hips over to the left. Gaze comes over to the right as we sink the hips all the way to the left heel. Exhale draws you through center, swinging it over to the other side. Hips to the right heel, gaze out past the left shoulder. Big inhale, exhale through center, again over to the other side. Exhale through center, hips over to the right. Take a few more rounds here on your own. Exhaling through center, maybe you start to incorporate the neck a little bit, dropping the chin to the chest as you come through your table. Warming up the spine, finding some free movement, closing the eyes, listening to the body. Your next exhale, we'll meet together in tabletop where we'll bring the big toes together, knees as wide as the yoga mat. We start to sink the hips down onto the heels. We keep the chest elevated here. As we swing the right arm out wide to our side before diving it underneath the left armpit, dropping onto the right shoulder, right ear. As we come into a variation of threading the needle. Left arm either reaches out towards the front edge of the mat You can always keep the left hand right in front of the face, squaring off at the elbow, 90-degree angle. Maybe you bring the left hand to the base of the low back. Or maybe you wrap the left hand around the low back, resting the palm on the top of the right thigh. We're here for 3 breaths. Last one, big inhale. Your next inhale, we unravel. Exhale, we press into the left hand, drawing us back through center. Pausing at center with chest elevated, neutralizing the spine. We drop the gaze. Big inhale, big exhale. Inhale, we swing left arm out wide at our side. Maybe you look out past your hands before following the fingers with the gaze as it comes underneath the right shoulder, down onto the left side of the ear. Right arm extends out long or squared off, palm at the face or palm on the low back, or taking a bind with the right hand, drawing it around the low back, resting on the top of the left thigh. One more inhale. Exhale draws us up through midline. Both arms extend out long. We take a big inhale, and on the exhale, we sink all the way down, letting the forehead rest on the mat. 3 breath cycles here in child's pose, extended child's pose. Last one, big inhale. Full releasing exhale. Inhale draws us up to our tabletop position. We bring the knees back underneath of the hips. We curl the toes under, and on the exhale, we're sending hips up high, downward facing dog. When you get there, pedal it out if you need to. Maybe bumping the hips to one side and then the other. Maybe take a nice wide stance and bend the knees. And we pause here for a few breath cycles, letting the low back really release. Seeing how long we can make our exhales. Last breath cycle. Here we go. Big inhale. Long exhale. Stay for your inhale. Exhale fuels your movement as we step feet to meet the hands at the top of the mat, meeting together in a forward fold. Bending the knees as much as you need to. We let the hands hang, arms hang. Crown shines down towards the earth. See if we can find some stillness here. Not feeling or not answering the need to sway or move or itch or adjust. Let's take one more inhale. Exhale, slowly root to rise, drawing energy up through the midline. We start to roll our way up to mountain. Arms come with us. Up overhead, left hand grabs right wrist as we lift the hands up and over towards the left. Lower body stays firm, hips are shining out towards the front of the mat, armpits are spread wide, shoulder blades pinching together. Exhale through the midline, we switch hands. Right hand grabs left wrist as we lift up and over towards the right. Being mindful of the neck, we bring the ears back in line with the biceps. Exhale through the midline. We drop the hands down at our sides, palms shining towards the front side of the mat. Arms reach down to come up. Palms kiss together as we start to float back down into our forward fold. Inhale lifts us halfway. Figure 7 shape with the body. We pause for a breath. Exhale, we fold. Exhale, root to rise. We're going back up to mountain. Arms come with us up overhead. Left hand grabs right wrist as we lift up and over. Maybe you turn to look up at the ceiling. Gaze is by the right bicep. Exhale through the midline. We switch hands, taking it over to the right. Exhale through the midline. We release the hands slowly. Palms, fingers are spread nice and wide. Ending right at the hips, the outer thighs. Slow down to come up on the inhale. Exhale, we fold, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale lifts you halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, hands come down to the mat. We step the left foot back, then the right foot back. If hopping is in your practice, you can certainly incorporate that today. We inhale to shift forward on the toes. Exhale, bending the knees slightly, elbows stay tight to the side body. We lower all the way, hands are right in front of the shoulders. We flip the feet, forehead kisses the mat. Inhale. Exhale, we start to rise up to cobra. Head is the last thing to rise. Shoulder blades are pinching together. Shoulders draw down away from the ears. We're lifting from the chest so as not to compress the low back. Exhale, we fold. Floating down the way we came. Toes curl as we power up to plank or half plank before transitioning into downward facing dog. We stay here for one breath cycle in stillness, settling into our foundation. Inhale, we lift the right leg up high. Heel drops to hip as we open the pelvis towards the right side of the mat. We Pull the right toes towards the left side of the mat for one more inhale. Exhale, we shift the right knee forward, dropping right behind the right hand. Top of the foot comes down to the mat. So fingers, wrist, knee, ankle, and toes are all in line with each other here, and hip, I guess, if we're being technical. We pivot on the left foot, shining the left toes off towards the left side of the mat, shifting the weight into the right hand, and we open left arm up to the ceiling. If balancing here is an issue, we can draw the right foot off the right side of the mat so that it's more at an angle. Pelvis is in line with the knees. One more inhale. Exhale, we float left hand back down to the right, pivoting again on the back toes. So we're back in the position that we started. Inhale, exhale, we lift the right knee, drawing the hips up, foot back, meeting again in downward facing dog. We're still working on the right side here. So we inhale, right leg lifts up high, three-legged dog. Exhale, we step the right foot right behind the hand this time. Modification of a low lunge. Inhale, exhale, we pivot both sets of toes over towards the right side of the mat. Weight now comes into the left hand. And we swing right arm up towards the ceiling, pressing firmly into the foundation. Our right foot lifting from the hips. Exhale, we pivot back the way we came. Both toes now face the front of the mat. Exhale, we lift the hips up high, drawing the right foot back to meet the left, again in downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up high again, three-legged dog. We draw the right foot over off the left side of the mat. So right leg is coming behind the left leg. Toes kiss the earth, both knees bend if that feels appropriate in your body today. Maybe you play around with straightening that right leg. One more inhale. Exhale, we draw the right foot back into our downward facing dog, right next to the left foot. And here we go on the other side. Inhale, left leg lifts up high. We drop heel to hip, opening the pelvis towards the left side of the mat. Arms are long and strong. One more inhale. Exhale, we shift the upper body forward, drawing the left knee right behind the left hand, dropping it down to the mat. Top of the foot comes in contact with the mat. Modification of a low lunge here. We shift the weight into the left hand, pivoting on the back foot so that the right toes are shining off the right side of the mat. We lift the right arm up towards the ceiling. Pelvis is in line with the knees. One more inhale. Exhale, we float the right hand down to meet the left, pivoting the back foot so that the toes again are facing the front of the mat. Coming out the way that we came. We inhale to lift the left knee and then send the left foot back to meet the right, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg kicks up high again, three-legged dog. Exhale, we step the left foot right behind the left hand this time. Modification of a low lunge. or lizard, one of the two. Exhale, we pivot both toes over towards the left side of the mat. Weight shifts into the right hand this time as we press into the left foot, helping us lift from the hips. Left arm comes up towards the ceiling. Lifting out of the right shoulder joint by pressing into the right fingertips. Exhale, we pivot the feet back the way we came, dropping the left hand. Hips come up high as we draw the left foot back to meet the right. Adjusting however you need to. Here we go, last one. Inhale, left leg kicks up high. And then transitions over the back of the right leg, dropping to the ground off the right side of the mat. Both knees are bent, or at least the right. One more breath. And exhale, we lift left leg up and over, coming back to meet in our downward facing dog. You're here for one more breath. And on the exhale, we use the strength of our arms to start walking ourselves back. Hands to meet the feet. Hello. Taking a moment in a forward fold. Fingertips come down to the mat as we heel toe, the feet wider than the hips. Maybe the toes spill off the long edge of the mat. Heels are pointed towards the midline. Inhale, and on the exhale, we start to sink the hips down in between the heels. Maybe that means you're here. Maybe that means you're up on the toes and you use your hands and you're here. Maybe the heels do come all the way down to the mat. We sink the hips down in between the heels, snuggling the elbows to the inside of the knee. If we are here, we sink the weight back into the heels. Thumbs come to the heart space and we send the heart towards the thumbs. You're here for one more breath. And after your last exhale, we send the hands forward, shifting the weight forward as we drop onto the knees. When we get there, let's bring arches together, knees together, hips sink back onto the heels as we start to melt the belly. Move my microphone. Belly, chest, and forehead down to the earth. We send the hands behind us in space. Traditional Balasana to end our practice, rounding forward in the shoulders, full release. Sticking with your breath, sending it down into the belly. If you're able to stay in a resting posture for a little bit longer, I would love that and would encourage you to do so. If you cannot and you must get back to your day, I understand. And thank you for practicing with me anyway. Go ahead and take a moment before you get off your mat to thank yourself for showing up. It is one of the hardest things that we can do. You did it, and I'm proud of you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next time.